Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mindless Mr. Rossum. Today, I am going to be showing off all the workshop items, planes, things that I've ever made that are cool. I'm not showing off the dumb stuff, only the really cool stuff. So, let's start off with this. You may recognize it. It's called the AFP, stands for Aerial Fighter Plane, Mark III. Now, this is a thing. It's a really cool thing. It is a plane, as you can see. This plane, it's cool. It's got guns on it. It's cheap. It's very maneuverable, actually. Like, look at that. I mean, it does not turn slow. It's not too speedy, as you can see. It only goes around like 90. Like doing this around 90. It's not that bad. The reason why I like this plane is because it's retardedly cheap. If you're making a fighter plane that's gonna go out and you're gonna shoot stuff with it, you know there's a high chance that it's gonna die. I mean, if you get hit with a missile with something this size, it's gonna blow. So I decided, you know what? Let's make a cheap fighter plane. Let's just do it. So I made a cheap fighter plane. It works. It's not the best at shooting ground stuff, which is why I made the other variants of it with railguns and missiles. But this one, it's just basic. It's cost around 45,000 buckaroos. You know, you could make that doing missions. It's not that hard. But let's show you the other versions, because I know you all are probably anxious about that. So here's the one with the missiles. It flies basically exactly the same. What a surprise. This one's a bit better at like shooting ground targets. It's got some missiles, you know, do some BAMs, you know, drop some BAMs on their faces. You could also, you know, do a dogfight with this. I mean, it's an aerial fighter plane. It's meant for dogfights, you know. So that's that one. There's the railgun version, which I had to take off some of the guns right here in exchange for a little bit extra firepower, a little bit more oomph. Both of these cost like around 80,000 versus like the old 45,000, because obviously they're much more advanced. They have much more better payload shooter thingies. So that's that. Let's go find something cooler. So those are all the three versions of the AFP Mark IIIs. These are actually like the AFP Mark 3.2s, because I have the AFP Mark III, which is the AFP Mark 3.1, which I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is the old version of it. As you can see, I used to have lasers in here, but as you can see, the top one doesn't work. And in some cases, the bottom ones didn't work either. So I took those off because they didn't work. And I replaced them with the bigger guns, the Hailfighters, which, you know, they're good. They do a lot of damage. Oh, here's something cool. The DO78HAD. The DO78 stands for Drone 078, and then HAD, Heavy Assault Drone. These bad boys are biggins. They're big. They run. They're like planes. They're supposed to like emanate planes, kind of, but they're not actually planes. They're meant to be like target practice for you, for like if you're having a battle. They can be controlled by an AI. That's the whole reason why I built this. They are powered by these massive, let's see if I can find them. Yeah, right here. I don't know if you can see me while it's bouncing around. You see these massive thingies, these massive hover plates? Yeah, I decided I'd build something with them because they're cool and I haven't done anything with them. It's got an anti-air gun on it. This one is the one that's meant to be controlled by players. It's not as much meant for AI control. The AI controlled one, which is the DO78, or D078, has this, which will automatically push the plane forward using the hover bug. It has the big Geocore powerlift hovers pushing on the wheels that are facing backwards, and it's less friendly towards players. It's got a lot more missiles on it, because right now these AA guns aren't working, so I decided to add more missiles to make up for the broken AA defense. I'll leave it on there for when the devs eventually fix it, but basically when a plane flies over it, it doesn't actually shoot it. It's like its cone of where it should be shooting at planes has inverted, which is kind of weird. But here is my second drone, the D924 AI Aerial Assault Drone Fletcher. This thing is completely autonomously powered by an AI, and it just flies around. You can turn it, doesn't lose altitude, turn it, doesn't lose altitude. If you press forward, it'll go up, if you press down, it'll go down. And you can have little dogfights with these things. In fact, I could have one right now if I got one of my aerial fighter planes. I'm not going to do that. I'll just I'll post all of the links to these in the workshop in the description, you know. This one's cool. The F-117 Nighthawk, which is obviously based off of a real plane. Doesn't look the best, but I managed to make it fly, and then I gave up because it's so... yeah, no. TerraTech does not like making things fly. So, bottom side, we got a bunch of these little kerboomers. We have these big kerboomers, the big man bombs, only available for the people with the R&D DLC. I managed to make this look slightly like F-117, and it actually flies. So I'd consider that a win. Yeah, I mean, it flies. Cool, right? So it used to be a lot more stable than this. It didn't tilt up like that. In fact, I might as well take that out because that's what's probably making it do that. It used to not do this. It used to just fly like straight. You could fly super straight, like straighter than a person that's not gay. I don't know. I don't know. But it can turn. Even when like the fuel runs out, it doesn't go into this like mad plummet. And because it uses so much Hawkeye stuff, it's actually really well armored. I mean, it's got like the wings intermingled with the Hawkeye armor plates. I mean, look at that. Taking a missile from the side isn't going to do much. So that's that. I don't consider this part of my Airforce though, which is why I shouldn't even be partly showing this in the video, but whatever. This is part of my Airforce, at least it used to be before the update. This is the Metav, what is it like? Mobile and all-terrain and armored vehicle. I think that's what it was. This thing was meant to be able to be carried in a cargo plane and dropped into combat via a very special tech that is called the Razione, which is still under construction. You're not going to see this in the description, but I got several versions of it that I'm kind of just playing around. And primary is the VTOL 2. And as you can see, it's a big boy, first off. Press X, and okay, I'm out the door. This door drops down, which will, if I fly up, drop down. And it'll keep whatever is inside. But this, I would consider part of my Airforce. This is a really cool tech that I worked a lot on, and it actually half works. I just need to put the right thing inside, because for the update, for the 0.08 update, whatever it's called. What is it called? Yeah, this boy could actually go inside this thing and could actually work. These tracks are the most problematic thing ever if you're planning to put them on a plane. You don't want them touching your plane. That's a bad thing that happens. Bad things, very bad things happen in fact. So let's load them up and I'll show you what I mean. Devs, if you're watching, you should fix this. It's annoying. No Legionite made some sort of like super cool thing with them, but there you go. I'll make it. There we go. Fits snugly in there. For the update, these tracks didn't actually touch the ground. They just kind of sat there, and if it leant to one side while going up a mountain, they would like, you know, use the tracks for extra propulsion. It worked fairly well. It didn't work as well as I liked it to, so I made a Metav 2, which had all tracks, and that's why I actually discovered the bug, which you'll see in a second. If I just fly up with this, door drops, you know, this thing will very soon start to do a little bit funky things. You'll see. Or maybe you won't see. Here it goes. You see it starts tilting off to the side. I don't know why it does this, but it starts drastically tilting off to the side, and it kills you. If this thing flips off to the side, there's no stopping it. It's gonna flip over, and you can't do anything about it. I mean, this is controlled. These are gonna always be spinning. These are the only things that are controlled when you press W and D and S and A, the controls. The rest of it just, yeah, this is what happens. And then you go and it tilts, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can try, but there's no point. You're just gonna die. Press B to turn your tech upright. Let's see how that goes. Oh, well, it looks like I just lost my door. Okay. Yeah, that's great, isn't it? It's just the follies of TerraTech. Okay. And I'm in non-land. This has happened before. I'll be right back. Alright, see, I'm back. The game completely crashed after I tried restarting it, and yeah, okay. Let's find some other cool planes, and now my scroll keys broke. Oh, great. You hear that? It's not scrolling. Alrighty, I'm once again back in the creative mode. Unfortunate series of events, I guess. Okay, let's look at something cooler. Scrolling? Finally. Alrighty. My next plane, which is actually really recent, is the MD, which is like my home, like, I don't know, prefix to everything. ACI, Aerial Combat Interceptor. This boy is a speedy little boy. He's a speedy boy. Yes, he goes fast. He catches up with planes, I guess. That's what an interceptor is. And he is super spit. Look. He's a spitty boy. Like Santa, gotta go fast, spitty. He, not as fast turning as the AFP. The AFP, the aerial fighter plane, the Mark III, that thing was crazy maneuverable. You're like, oh, jeez, okay. Now I'm back, and I've crashed. Great, okay. Yeah, this thing costs around 150,000. It's quite a bit more expensive than the aerial fighter plane. However, it does have quite a bit more speed on its side, and it has a bit more firepower, as it has like missiles. Like even the fighter planes without them, with the missiles, like those things were 80k. If I were to pitch these two together, this thing would probably win. Even though the AFP is like super maneuverable, I would say this thing would win because it has more battery power. And if I were to charge this up, you guys may have noticed the AFP. I actually didn't even show that, did I? Okay, I will get my supercharger right out of here. So this thing, it's got both a repair bubble and a shield, which is what makes it a bit more of a better fighter than the AFP. Alright, go to the AFP. It's not even really. This is the swarm missile variant. It's got a little bit of a healing bubble. It's got all of its batteries running down the main body of it, which is kind of the disadvantage of it. I mean, this thing is awesome. It can take a lot of hits. It's built modularly, so that, say, if I were to, just, looks like you've lost that part. It can still fly. Still fly fine. Still turn, and all that. If I were to lose this part, still fly. Still fly fine. It's perfect. If you lose this part, now you might notice a little bit more of like a, what would you call it, a performance decrease, but it still flies. You can still fight in it technically, just going a bit slower and, having a bit harder of a time turning. That's the whole thing with this, is that it's supposed to be super hard to kill. You gotta blow off a bunch of parts of it, which is what makes it weak against missiles. But like things other than missiles, where they don't hit in weird places, like if you just get hit in the wingtips, most of the time you're gonna be fine. I mean, this thing can survive missiles and actually does, just, not as good as this thing. This thing is meant to actually be able to take shots, like missiles from this and this. It's actually more meant to, zoom after something and blow it out of the sky. I mean, I know there's no dogfighting in TerraTech right now, but there eventually probably will be. They're working on multiplayer. So as this thing's, it's pretty cool. It's got, you probably spotted this, but it's got two little things there, in case, your missiles aren't working out for you, I guess. It's got two rear guns right there. Go the little hailfires. I have a hailfire in the front too. And it's got a power gauge. That's it. Alrighty. This is my assault helicopter. It is the only helicopter that I use, primarily because it's the only thing I ever really need to use. I mean, it's got 2 cruise missiles. It's got 4 of those missiles. It's got quite a bit of firepower on it, It's got that thing for, little dudes. This is a non-hoverbug flyer, by the way. This does not use a hoverbug at all. It uses that stuff and that stuff only to fly. And I mean, I could make something that uses the hoverbug, it'd probably be a bit more efficient, but this thing, for not using the hoverbug, is retardedly stable. I mean, this was like the king of all helicopters before the hoverbugs came in. People were like, oh, we can use the hoverbugs, okay. If you press forward, you'll get up to a cruising speed of 50. It will begin to maintain its height at sometime soon, because it has these things on it. So the faster you go, the more downwards thrust it gets, So if you tilt forward, it's not gonna start crazily going everywhere. Birds. Please, this thing, it can take quite a few hits. Like, I've been slammed with a megaton bullet on this thing, it hasn't died. It lost that missile right there, but whatever. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's not all too expensive considering a lot of other helicopters, assault craft that people would use. So yeah, I called it the Soul, because Soul is the name of our sun. The sun sits up there and it just kind of berates us. I'm pretty sure that's not our sun, just to let you know. I don't know why I looked at it, but it just kind of sits up there in the sky and is like, huh, you stupid life forms down there. You want to get berated with cancer particles? And it berates you with cancer particles. That's what this does. It just shoots missiles at you from up here in a place where you can't hit it unless you have missiles yourself. So yeah, that's why I called it the Soul. Next up is the good old the GAP. Now that stands for Ground Assault Plane. It is meant to shoot stuff on the ground. So as you can imagine, it's got some heavy ordnance. If you look here, you can probably see some megatons lined up on the 347, which is a different variant of it. It's got a 352, 342, and the 347, all different variants. Let's look at the 342. Now, this one costs around 400k. It's got a lot of really expensive batteries on board, which is kind of what gets the cost up. These things are each 13k each, I think. Maybe, let me check. 13,000k. So that's 13,000, 26,000, 39,000, 52,000. Right there. That's probably the most expensive part of it. And then it's got a bajillion batteries, and it's got a Hawkeye shield, and it's cool. Now this thing, as I said before, it's meant to assault ground things, which is why it's got those missiles on it. It's not meant to shoot things in the air. I mean, if something's gonna come after it in the air, first off, you're gonna be playing with some pretty sick mods. And did it just... Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it's not meant to shoot stuff in the air. It's meant to shoot stuff in the ground. That's why it's got these heavy missiles right there. I mean, I could mount it with the cruise missiles. I personally don't like cruise missiles because they're overpowered as all hell. It flies pretty well. Let's take off. It takes a while to take off from a flat surface because it's like super stable, but it eventually does. If you're wondering, if you're playing around with it, it goes boom, 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 boom. And the main thing about these, the difference between these and the cruise missiles, is that these hit at different times. These degrade your shields at different times. You know, cruise missiles is all just one big bam, you know, they all just slam into you at once. But that doesn't do all too much, because even if you had enough to, you know, take down your shields, since they're hitting at basically the same time, it doesn't matter, because they're all going to hit into the shields even if they get taken down afterwards. That's the thing with these missiles, the GSO missiles, and why I like them, to be quite frank, is that they have 4 different rounds, each of them pretty darn powerful, which is why I have 4 of them. So that's 16 missiles slamming into in 4 intervals. It's pretty deadly. Okay, that was that one. There's the 342. Where is someone? Here it is, 347. This is yeah, I'll start with the 342. This one has megatons, which is more meant for shooting stuff which doesn't have shields. Because all of you know, if you don't have shields and you get a megaton shot at you, unless you're like in some sort of like super heavily Hawkeye armored vehicle, you are not gonna last long without your shields. I mean, you are gonna die. So that's what this thing is for. You just go in, you go bam, you get out of there. So that's this thing. Yeah, it's got megatons on a plane. This is the 352. This has a mix. It's got 2 megatons and 2 missile launchers. Now these should actually be inverted, and I don't know how and where that happened. This should be on the inside because, you know, these kind of need to be more direct while the missiles can just, you know, look at in the general direction of something and hit it. Bam! Look at that. That's pretty cool. Okay, save it, overwrite it. Let's go on to the next one. This thing, I don't like looking at it. It's a very bad plane. I meant for it to be like a super cheap bomber, almost like the AFP is a super cheap fighter. It doesn't work anymore. It used to work a lot better, but they've tweaked some stuff and now it barely flies. And you'll see what I mean by that. It barely flies. Like, okay, where is it? Let's see. It will start stalling like at 30 degrees, like here, it'll start stalling and you fall back down. It can barely fly. I mean, it's not, I mean, it used to work, and they used to have a nice little carpet bomb right there, you know? No, not anymore. So that's all my testoil thingies, if you want to look at it. I'll look at it because, yeah, whatever. The devs screwed this thing up. It used to work super well, and the turret used to actually work, you know? But, I mean, I put some hovers on it somewhere. I think I actually took them out. Oh, this is the super early versions of it, isn't it? And there's an easy way to tell. Does it have the things? Yes, it does. The early versions of the testoil had these things in it. I mean, this is not a plane, but I want to show it off because it's cool. And I had those on there until I realized you can't, they don't work. You can't anchor this thing. I don't know why you can't. I've tried it on flat ground. I've tried it in the R&D test mode. It doesn't work. The turret should be the same. I'll look at a more newer version just in case it's not. Beta 2 is the one I uploaded to the workshop. It's got lights, as you can see. It used to be a really, really cool craft, you know. I don't really play survival all that often, but if I had, I would definitely get this in it. Oh, the lag. Okay, can you go up a hill, please? Yes. Ooh. Okay. The reason this doesn't work anymore is for two reasons. One, the devs severely buffed these things, the hover plates. They made them retardedly powerful. This thing has now been turned into a drift car, basically. It no longer gets any grip on these warhorse wheels, which really aren't warhorses so much as they are war turtles. They never did anything good in the beginning, and it can't really move. I mean, I don't know why I just use tracks. I'm gonna make a new version of this, post it on the workshop. You can all subscribe to it, and be happy with your testoil again. Now let's check out that turret, right? The cool turret that used to work. Well, guess what? I'm pressing A and D right now. It ain't moving. Even when I shoot it, it gets stuck right there. I mean, let's shoot it again. It might do the glitch. Did it do it? I think that did it. It gets glitched out of its box. Now, you guys might be thinking, hey, mindless Mr. Awesome. You probably don't have enough room in there. I mean, look at that amount of room. Well, this used to work. I made this in a period where this actually would do a 360 degree swivel. I mean, it would get occasionally a little bit stuck, but it used to work. And I'm angry that it doesn't work now. Now, I know the reason why it doesn't work. It's because if we look at this, these things right here, they once had a much smaller hitbox than what they do now. In the latest update, I'm pretty sure the devs said, hey, we're adding a bunch of optimization things to the game. One of the things that they did to optimize it was they made all of the hitboxes a lot smaller, so that way the game's calculating less collisions and all that. Well, guess what? You screwed my tank over. It's not fun. Turn it back. TerraTech performs basically the same. I mean, both, it doesn't really make a difference. So the main tank itself, it's got a little thing right there, minigun. It's got two of those guns. I will be making a new version, so I don't know what I'm talking about less than a planes video. Let's go on to the next thing. Yo, here it is. My mid-range bomber. This is, Jesus Christ. Okay, this thing is meant to be a bomber with a long battery life. And I've just, okay. Alright, let's get another one. So as you can see, it's got a shield, another shield, another shield, another shield, 3 repair bubbles. And it's got this thing, you may not be able to see it from here. This thing has 52 GSO batteries on it. 52. 52. Not a singular Hawkeye, because this was made long before the Hawkeyes ever came out. This is probably my oldest craft that still works. This is almost certainly the oldest craft that still works. I built this right when these things came out. It was right at that update where these things and that thing came out. And I decided, hey, let's build something cool. And I built this thing. It's really cool. This thing is basically a big carpet bomber. It's got all these things underneath it. I could mount more, but I'm not gonna. You could, I did make a version on Steam where I added in the bombs to, like, the big man bombs. Yeah, let's see if it's on Steam. Oh, this is it, isn't it? Mid-range bomber Mark II. Yeah, this thing has all the bombs underneath. Okay, and this thing goes around, it drops bombs. Bam! Whatever tech you had underneath you is dead. Bam! You don't like those trees? Bam! I don't like them either. Whoa! Did you see that wood? Okay. This thing with extra like super heavy bombs, it doesn't do as good in terms of stalling. It's still really bad stalling. The normal version with just the mortars underneath, it's pretty good. Now let's look at the HES speed. HES speed stands for Hawkeye, HE, Hawkeye, you know, Strike Bomber. This stands for Large Payload, stands for Cruise Missiles. There's two versions of these. One is on an odd axis, and it only has, you know, it's got the odd stuff in the middle. It has a 3-wide payload changer. This thing is very hard to take out because mainly it's very, very fast. I don't exactly have a speedometer on here, which I really should, because I built this in the R&D test chamber when it, like, just when Hawkeye had come out, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to build a bomber with this. So yeah, this was a thing that came out with the very first Hawkeye update. Its defense is the fact that it can lose, it's modular, like the AFP. You can lose a lot of your wings on this side or a lot of wings on that side, doesn't matter. You got enough to keep you going. And this is a thing you want to put something very expensive in there, which is why I also made a resource. I made like 15 different variants of this. I'm not, oh jeez, no. Ah! Okay, you can ignore that. RG, this is the original one that I made. It's got railguns, whoa, and it used to fly over things. It has the laser pointers pointed downwards, and you could just go, you see that? That's basically where you're gonna hit. If I want to do that, go bam, and it's super fast. So if I were like, let's try and fly over this rock right here, or these rocks. Let's hit that tree. Can we hit the tree? Let's get the rails. Bam! Yeah, that's how this thing was gonna work. It's basically a cannon facing downwards, and you had to like angle yourself to, you know, bomb stuff. It works pretty good until I realized that, you know, I was a bad pilot at the time, because, you know, it was way down there, way back in the olden days, and I wasn't a good pilot back then. I'm a decent pilot now, but, you know, this was back in the old days, and I was like, I need something better, I'll put missiles in it. So I made the missiles. Then I was like, well, this thing is meant to carry something super expensive. Why don't I put some resources in it? Some of those resource blocks. This one came equipped with these things. Now you might be wondering, what the heck are those? Just say you have a bunch of Luxian adventure blocks that you need transported or drops off somewhere. And you need them there fast, and you're not using that cheaty wormhole stuff where you can just teleport blocks wherever you want it. Hey, that tree needs some Luxian. Let's give him some Luxian, man. Okay, you go over it. You press X. They all drop away, and you can mount as much as you really need down there. None of them break. They're all pretty sturdy. They can take the hit, and then they just kind of sit down there. It's equipped for air-to-air combat. It's got some of these things which shoot backwards. Like you can't really see it because of the light. Oh jeez, the lag. Okay, these things, the Hailfires, I like them on planes because they have a lot of range. They're fast, they shoot fast, they have decent damage too. I have the miniguns up here in the front, which shoot very far as well, as you can see. So if you do come in contact with another plane, you can fire up those miniguns and rip them to shreds. And I did have a version which had missiles on it, I believe. Oh, I think I know what that one is. Let's take a look at the second version of this. Where is it? The big boy. This thing is almost impossible to get off the ground without destroying a bajillion things, like off the, you know, the creative mode ground. Especially if you're in a forest. This thing is exactly the same purpose as the first vehicle, except that it's way more battery life, way more shield protection, and it's got the same amount of like room. It's basically a super bomber. It's the biggest bomber I have in my arsenal, and it could be better. There's a lot of room in here. If you wanted to take off some of these and strap on some more bombs or whatever you want, go ahead. I mean, this thing is meant to be a super bomber. So yeah, that's this thing. Jeez, okay. Where have I been? Let's find my charger. Oh jeez. Oh no! Okay. Well, there goes my front minigun. One of them at least. Okay, I'm done with this. I'm done. Let's get away from here. Let's take a look at this. This is I built it the other day. I was kind of bored. I was like, I want a personal transport vehicle I can get from A to B in. So I built this. I don't know why I just used a single big one, but I didn't. And now, it's super hard to control. Whoa. I don't know why I've done this. It goes up and down super fast. It does like some sort of weird like swooping maneuver when you pull up like that. It goes super speed, like, you know that. I guess it's like, it's really good because you can turn it like this, and then you only have to do this in order to turn it. You don't have to do much else, like the constant, you know, A and D, A and D. Okay, here it is, the Pelican Assault Drone. This thing is a little drone that looks like a pelican because of its front. That has 2 cruise missiles. It's like an assault drone. You go that, it was bam. And it's very, very small. It's meant to fly like super high up like this. It's powered by a singular zero engine. It travels pretty high. You do a little bit of a dive like that, and then you shoot them. You go and destroy things down below. You probably want to go a little bit lower though. Yeah, and you just go like, what-cha, bam, death. This is the last thing to show you today. Now you may like already looking at this, it's like, oh, this is looking slick, you know? It's got all this crazy stuff. It actually looks kind of like a real plane until you look at the front of it and you realize how stupid it looks. So yeah, this thing, well, you might be thinking, hey, that needs a really long runway. It's a big plane, huh? Nope. Guess what? I'm just gonna press shift right here. Yep, it's a VTOL. It can just take off. You don't need to get a runway or anything. You just take off. And it flies normally, like a normal plane, like it's a real boy, real plane. Yeah. Okay. That's definitely not a reference to Pinocchio. So it's got shields. It's got a bit of batteries in the center, running down here, the center of the craft. Again, if you get hit in the middle, and you lose one of these parts in the middle, you're done anyways. You only need to worry about it being batteries at that point, you know. You're gonna die if you get your core destroyed. You do not need to take off like that. In fact, it's recommended that you don't, because you destroyed these armor plates. You may wonder what all these armor plates are. Well, as I said earlier, this is a VTOL. It's not a VT. It's not a VTO. It's a VTOL. This is meant to take off horizontally and land horizontally. So let's see if I can do it. So if I just let go, and then I go like this, and then I just fall, the combined damage between the armor plates normally doesn't take damage, but sometimes it does, which is why you have power. But even with without the, you need to get good at flying this plane to landing it like that. I mean, it is not, it's more meant to land like this, like you go low and then you just drop it, and then you slam into the surface like that. You're supposed to hit the armor plates, but apparently I don't. Oh well. This thing only has weapons. Yeah, only has. This thing has 16 of those hailfire rifles on the front, excuse me. And on the front it's got 16 of them. It's got 2 of those little venture missiles. Oh, yeah. Bam. Okay. I mean, it's meant to be like a dogfighter, kind of. It's very maneuverable. I wonder why. Probably because it has a lot of upward force. It's got 9 of the venture hailfighters on the back right here, so if everyone gets on your tail, they're gonna have to be dealing with that. And so yeah, there's this. No, this is one of my favorite planes, by the way, guys. This is an absolutely marvelous plane. I love it. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you tomorrow. JK. Bye.